Hi everyone. So this is a 4-day bootcamp where we are going to learn about CSS. First we learn the fundamental of CSS. So the first question arises in our mind, what is CSS? In the bootcamp first day class, I will show you if I remove CSS file from any web page, it will give just structure and our web page is also not looking so attractive. So first of all, what is CSS? The question arises in your mind. So CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. CSS describes how HTML elements are to be displayed on a screen, paper, or in other media. Like CSS saves lot of work. It can control the layout of multiple web pages all at once. We have lots of CSS, like we have external, internal and inline CSS. We will learn each CSS one by one, like how can we apply. So first of all, we will see the syntax of CSS, how it looks like. So for that, I'm typing W3 school here, taking reference from here so that you can see like how can we apply CSS on a file. So you have to click on here. So here you get a syntax of CSS. So if we have any element inside our index.html file, as you can see, we do lots of things and we have lots of tag as well. We have h1 tag, and if we want to make more attractive and it will look more good, for that what we can do, we can apply CSS on it. But how? So for that we have to see the syntax, like how can we add. So let's see here, we have h1, like any h1, so this we call selector, and we have a color that we call property. And what is the color of that h1 selector? It should be blue, so it's our value. In this way we can add lots more CSS. If you want to give font size, and if you want to give background, so background, if you want to give background color, so in that case your background color will be your property, and what color you want to give that, give to particular images or any element, what background color you want to give, that is your value. For example, if you want to give red color to that image background, so this red color is your property. So this is the basic syntax of CSS, and in this way you can add CSS in your file. So let's first talk about what is CSS selector, that is h1. So as you can see, the selector point to the HTML element you want to style. If you want to style h1, let's suppose if you want to style any other tag, if you have p tag, image tag, so in that case you have to write p, you have to write img, that is your image tag. So declaration block contain one or more declarations separately by semicolon, and remember you have to give semicolon as well. So each declaration includes CSS property named, value, separated by a colon. What this is your name and this is your value, and it is separated by what? Semicolon. So in this way you have to add CSS. So as you see the syntax of CSS, how you have to apply. Now we will see selector as well. Let's do some practical implementation for understanding it in clear way. So here only I am going to make one more h1 tag. Let me remove the above one so that it's clear to you. Whatever I did here, I am going to remove. Okay, now I am going to take p tag. Learning CSS. Let me save this file and go. Okay. Here we can see we get learning CSS in p tag. Now what I want to apply some CSS to it. So we learn about CSS selector. CSS selector select the HTML element you want to style. So here what I want to style? I want to style my p tag. So for that what I am going to do, I am select my p tag. How can I do that? I can not here, we will make another file for adding CSS, and we will learn about that as well. Now I am just giving you the example that how we can add CSS to that p tag. So what we do, we have selector. So what is our selector? P tag. And inside p tag, what we are going to do is that we want to give color. Learning CSS, we want to give a blue color. So for that I am going to write color here. Color is our property, and what should be the value? The color that we want to add for learning CSS. Here I want to give blue, and at last we have to put this. Okay, so in this way, if you now it's not working because we are not making file for that, so I'm just giving you the explanation how can you add. So in this way you can add. So what is your selector? Here P is our selector because we want to apply CSS to that particular element, and color is our property that we want to give these tags learning CSS, and blue the color, the value that we want for learning CSS. So in this way we can add CSS. So now let's make separate file. Let's first talk about external CSS. Here I'm going to make one file. Here you can see for index.html, for writing HTML file, we are using .html. So for CSS, what we are going to use? .css. You can give any name. So here I am going to give styles dot, okay, 1 minute, styles.css. Let me save this file. Okay. Now, whatever I wrote here, let me go back. So this is a thing that we wrote here. Now let me copy this and paste it here. Now when I save this file, it is not applicable on our web page. The reason behind this, let me show you as well. Why it's not apply on our text? Because we are not added to our index.html file, that file. So we have to embed this style.css inside index.html. So how can we do that? For that we are going to use link tag. Inside link tag I am going to use href attribute. First I am going to use and style set, and here I am going to take a reference from where styles.css. So this is a file that we want to give, so we just have to do that. Let me save this file. Now when we see on our web page, so it's working fine. So in this way you can add style, you can add CSS to your particular element that you want to add. So basically selector, you can select particular, if you have a lots of tags like h1 image, so you can, in the same way you can add it like this. Simply choose that selector, that element, and give style to that particular element. After CSS selector, we have CSS ID selector. So what is ID selector? The ID selector uses the ID attribute of an HTML element to select a specific element. For example, here we have one more tag h1 and some text inside it. Okay, inside p tag we are going to write some random text, and h1 tag we are going to put above p tag. And inside that we are going to write learning CSS. Then we have a h3 tag. Types of CSS we have. Okay, let me save this file. Let me split it out as well. Now you can see we have h1 tag where we don't apply any CSS, then we have a p tag, then we have another h3 tag. So inside p tag we get some CSS property that we apply on style.css, but inside h1 or h3 we don't have any CSS. That's why by default it is coming in black color. So for that, what we can do, if we want to use selector and give some property and value in the same way like the p tag we give, in the same way we can give that as well. So this is our external CSS. Now here I'm going to select this h1 tag and will show you. Inside h1 I'm going to write some color. And after color I just want to give some background as well. So for background I'm using background property, background color. You can use background as well and give it any color that you want to give. If we have a purple as a text color, then we can give gray. Let me change this color so that it can reflect. So in this way we can add external CSS to our file. Now we have inline CSS. Now what is this inline CSS? We have three types of CSS: external, internal and inline. So this is our external CSS. For external CSS we are making separate file. And for internal CSS we are going to add style inside our head section. For example, I want to give style to this h1 tag here only, in this file only. So what I can do, here I am going to use style tag, and inside style tag I can give, for example, h3, and for h3 I can add any color. So in this way we can add internal CSS to our HTML file. This is our internal CSS. So if you have any tag and if you want to add that style to that file only, so for that you can use internal CSS. And if you have lots of not only a single element, if you have lots of element and if you want to give style, so for that you have to learn classes, ID selector, grouping selector, and for choosing that you can add style to same element, give CSS to that. Now I am going to talk about CSS selector is done. CSS ID selector, what is it? So the ID selector uses the ID attribute of an HTML element to select a specific element. The ID of an element is unique within a page, so the ID selector is used to select one unique element. So to select an element with a specified ID, write hashtag. For example, here I want to give ID as a heading, and I want to apply style to that particular learning CSS only. Let me remove this. So inside that, what is the name? Heading. So for ID we are going to use this symbol hashtag, and after hashtag we are writing this name heading, and in the same way we are giving a style to that. For example, that text I want center, so for that I can use text align center. Now what I want, it goes in a center, as you can see. One minute. I'm going to add justify content center as well, so that it comes in a center. This is a CSS property. One minute, guys. Okay, now it's fine. So what I give, text align center. After text align, I want to give property color. I want to add some color, red. So it colors become red. Now in this way we have a class selector as well. This is our ID selector. For ID selector we are going to use this special symbol, that is hashtag. Then we have a class selector. So the class selector select HTML elements with a specific class attribute. To select element with a specific class, you have to write a dot character. For example, if you want to give some class, let me give class as a name para. So it's a paragraph, so we give para. So inside paragraph, what I am going to do, like for ID selector we are using this special character, that is hashtag. For class selector we are going to use this dot, this is a special character, and after that the name that we give, para. So here I am going to use para, and after that in the same, if I want to give text align center, but I don't want to give, I want to change the color of a text. So when I write cent color blue, let me save this file. I'm just explaining you like how many type of selector we have. The first one, ID selector, that is represented by a special character hashtag. Then we have a class selector, that is represented by a special symbol dot. In this way, another we have a universal selector, CSS universal selector. What is the CSS universal selector? Universal selector select all HTML element on the page. Whatever we have, it will select everything. So how it's represent? It is represented by star mark. I will show you which is the symbol. I don't know the name of that star mark. So it is represented by that symbol. So it will select all HTML element on the page. So the CSS rule below, for example, you don't have to choose any element from here. What you have to do is that on the top of your file, of your CSS file, you have to put this mark. This we call universal selector. And inside universal selector, if you write text align center, so whatever the element you have, it will go center. We don't have to choose any particular element like in like we are doing in CSS, we are doing in class selector or ID selector. Here I am going to give text align center. Let me save this file. Now you can see everything goes in the center. Whether it's a heading is already in the center, so doesn't affect that. but we have a p tag, it will also goes in the center, and we have a type of css that is by default coming on a left hand side of our web page, that also goes on the center. So if you want to apply only single style to your whole web page, for that you can use universal selector. Now you can understand what is universal selector. It will style your whole index.html file. After ID selector, we learn we have a ID selector. This is denoted by hashtag. Then we have a class selector represented by dot. Then we have a universal selector that is represented by the star mark, and then we have one more, that is grouping selector. So the grouping selector select all the HTML element with the same style definition. Look at the following CSS code. As you can see, we are giving para color blue and here heading color red. Let me give here as well. No, let me do one more thing. Here I have to add some p tag, not p tag. For example, if we have h1 tag learning CSS, after h1 tag we have h2 tag as well, learning types of CSS, fundamental of CSS. I'm just giving you the example so that you can understand in an easy way. Then we have a p tag. Not, we already have p tag. We have after p tag what tag we can take. We have some input field, we can take input field as well. Let me save this. Now we are applying universal selector, that's why it goes in the center. No need to worry. Let me remove this for some time so that I can explain you in a easy way. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to give, we have h1, h3, h2. Okay, now what we have inside, we have a p tag. Okay, first we have a h1 tag learning CSS ID. Okay, here again I'm going to take one more h1 tag. Now we have this 4-day bootcamp type of CSS, learning fundamental of CSS, put this after h1. No, it's fine. We have these 4 things, h1, h2, h3 and an input field. Now what I'm going to go to, I'm going to, let me save this file as well. Now I'm going to select my h1 element, and inside h1 element I'm going to give same thing like text align, center, color red. Let me show you. Let me change the color from red to yellow. Let me save this file. Yellow, not green. Okay, fine. After h1 we have h2. What I'm going to copy this only. After h1 we have a h2. I'm going to write h2. Okay, this is our h2. Let me see. h1, h2, and then we have a h3 types of CSS. Okay, order is not proper. Okay, now fine. Type of CSS is h3. Okay, now I'm doing h3. Now you can see, for adding same CSS to same tag, we have h1, h2 and h3. I have to copy this CSS again and again and paste it in my code, so the complexity become more. Now you can see in h1 also we have a same CSS, text align, center, color green. h2 also we have same thing, and inside h3 also we have the same thing. So for that, for solving this problem and making it little less complex, so for that we are going to use CSS grouping selector. So what this grouping selector will do? The grouping selector select all the HTML element with the same style definition. Not we have to write this h1, h2, h3. Look at the following CSS code. We have h1, h2, h3. Now what I am going to do is that it will be better to group the selector to minimize our code as well. So to group the selector, we have to separate each selector with a comma. I'm showing you like we have h1. So what I'm going to do, I'm writing h1 first, then I'm putting comma. After that we have h2. I'm going to write this. Then we have a h3. So if you want to apply same CSS, so for that you can use grouping selector. Now inside that I'm going to copy this and paste it. Now I don't have to write this much of code. Let me remove this. It will also work same. Now let me save this file. Now you can see there is no changes because it also worked like the before one. So in this way you can use grouping selector. Now you learn how to add CSS to index.html file. Like there are 3 ways to add CSS. We have external CSS. So for adding external CSS you can use a link tag, and then we have an internal inline CSS. We have a 3 main CSS, external, I am repeating, external CSS, internal CSS and inline CSS. So first we are going to talk about external CSS. Like with an external style set, you can change the look of an entire website by changing just one file. Each HTML page must include a reference to the external style file inside the link that you are seeing on above screen. We have a link file. Inside that we are linking this style.css file. Now let's suppose we have, let me remove this. Here we are going to learn about external CSS. On that time I become little confused, so sorry for that. We have external CSS. Now we are talking about external CSS only. So inside external CSS we have 2 tags as h1, and then we have a p tag as name. This is a paragraph. Okay. Now I want to apply external style sheet, external CSS to that tag. So an external style sheet can be written in any text editor and must be saved with a .css file, as you can see, as I already did here, styles.css. So the external .css file should not contain any HTML tag. Here we don't have to write any HTML tag. We have to use these things. If we are going to write like this now, h1, and after that we are going to apply CSS, it will not work, and it is not a correct way to write CSS. Now let me show you how can I add CSS to my external file. Now we have these 2 things only. Now here first I have a body tag. So I am going to write here body. Inside body I want to give some background color as a light blue. Okay, this one. Let me save this. No, it's fine. So inside body, whatever we have, like we have 2 tag h1 and p, we give the background to it as a blue color. So the background we will show in our web page, it's showing in a blue color, light blue color. And after that we have a h1 tag. So I want to apply some CSS on it as well. So for that I'm going to use h1 selector, and inside h1 selector I'm going to give color navy. Okay, fine. Then I want to give some margin. For example, here I'm giving margin left 20 pixel. Let me save this. So it will go little left. Now margin left or margin right works opposite direction. When you put margin left, it will go on a right hand side. Don't get confused. And when you apply margin right, it will comes in a left hand side. So Don't get confused in it why it's happening. It works opposite in CSS. One more thing that you guys have to keep in mind, do not add a space between the property or value. For example, here you have a 20 pixel. If you are writing like this 20 and you are putting some space and writing like this, it will not work because it is an incorrect way to adding CSS. Remember, you don't have to add space while writing number and the pixel value. Now, after external CSS, now you got it, what is external CSS. Now we have internal CSS. Now what is this internal CSS? So an internal style set may be used if one single HTML page has a unique style. The internal style is defined inside the style element, inside the head section that you see here. Like in first day class, I show you the login web page of Facebook, and from there I am removing my CSS file from head section. On that time we are only able to see the structure of HTML and not able to see CSS because we delete the head section. So here inside head section only we are going to embed a styles.css, and here only we are going to apply our internal styles as well. So internal styles are defined within style element. Let me write style, or in a same document, same file. Now after writing this, now what I want to do, I want to give some background color to my body. Let's suppose here only I am going to add background. First of all, we have a body section. Inside body, I am going to give color, background color. Okay, now you can see we are able to give. Now I want to give some margin as well. Margin left 40 pixel. Okay. Now you can see in this way we can apply internal CSS to a index.html file in a same document. So if you want to apply internal CSS, you don't want to make a separate file. So for that you can use style tag, and inside style tag you can apply your CSS. Then after that we have a inline CSS. So an inline style may be used to apply a unique style for a single element. So to use inline styles, you have to add the style attribute to the relevant element. For example, as I show you the ID selector and class selector. So here we are going to use the style attribute that can contain any CSS property. So this we call inline CSS. On inside element only we are going to use what? Style attribute. And inside style attribute we can add any CSS property. For example, we have an external CSS, and from what is the color of this? Not here. We have external CSS color navy. Now I want to convert this CSS in color red. So for that, here I have to write color and give CSS as red. Let me save this. Now it become in red color. In the same way you can give style to p tag as well. For that what you have to do, you have to use style attribute, and inside style attribute I am going to add color blue. Okay, fine. So in this way you can add inline CSS to your any HTML element. One more thing, if you have to apply multiple style set, if some properties have been defined for the same selector element in different style set, you can see here we have h1, and here inside internal also or inside external also we define the same property. Okay, like you are thinking like that, why this is not applicable if we are defining here, why this inline CSS is reflecting on our web page. I will tell you the reason behind it, why it's happening. Assume that an external style set has the following style h1 element, as you can see, and we give color navy. Here you can see we give color navy. Then assume that an internal style set, not assume, you can see in internal style set you have h1 element, Here you have an h1 element, and here you are going to give color. Okay, let me give. No need to assume. Let's see. Here I am going to give color orange. Okay. Let me save this file. And let me remove this CSS for a while so that you can understand. So you can see we have a property, we have CSS property in external file also, or in style sheet as well. In external we have color navy, but in internal style sheet we have color orange. And here the applicable color is, let me save this, the applicable color is orange. What is the reason behind it? If the internal style is defined after the link, you can see here we have a link tag. Okay. If internal, listen carefully, if internal style is defined after the link to external style sheet, the h1 element will be orange. Now, however, if the internal style is defined before the link to external style sheet, for example, if we define here below, then it will applicable the style that we apply on external. Let me show you that as well. Let me copy this and paste it before after style and remove it from here. Let me save this file. Now you can see the navy color is come. So the thing is like that, if the internal style is defined after the link to the external style sheet, the h1 element will be orange color. And however, if the internal style is defined before the link to the external style sheet, the h1 element will be in the navy blue color that we apply in external style sheet. You have to remember this. Now we are going to learn about cascading order, like what is the order of CSS, which color applies first, what style will be used when there is more than one style specific for an HTML element. As you can see here, we have a style h1 for we have a internal style for h1, and we have same external style for h1 as well. Now the priority, like how it works. If we have this link file above, then we get orange color, and if it is below style sheet, then we will get navy blue color. And what if I'm going to apply, going to use inline CSS by using style attribute, what happened? Let me use that as well, color red. Let me save this. Now all the styles in a page will cascade into a new virtual style sheet by the following rules, where number 1 has the highest property, like inline CSS has the highest property. As you can see on the screen, we get a red color while when we apply inline CSS to our HTML file. External and internal style sheet in the head section depend on head section, whether it is on the top of style or below of style. On the basis of that, it will apply CSS. But if we are talking about inline style, so inline style has the highest priority and will override external and internal styles and browser defaults as well. So in this way we can add CSS. Now we are going to learn about CSS comments. What is CSS comments? Let me write here h1, and here I am going to write CSS comments. Okay. CSS comments are not displayed in the browser, but they can help document your source code. How? Like comments are used to explain the code and may help when you edit the source code at a later date. Comments are ignored by a browser. A CSS comment is placed inside style element. Like for example, if you have to make it as CSS, so what you have to do, you have to click Control and then /. You can add the symbol as well for adding CSS. Now when I save my file, it will not reflect on a web page. For example, let me remove this. Here we are going to learn about CSS. If someone is coming and see our document, they are not able to understand what we are doing. So for that, for their understanding, we are going to write comment. We are learning CSS. We are learning CSS. What happened when I save my file? It will reflect on my web page, and what I want, it should be not reflect on my web page. It should be for another user who will see my web page and understand what I am doing. So I am going to comment it by clicking Ctrl and slash. Let's select all and click on Ctrl and forward slash. And you can use this symbol as well, this angular, and after it is not, and this one, and inside this you can write anything, so it will not reflect on your web page. So this is basically comment will do. You can see it is not reflecting. So this is called CSS comments. We have two types of comment, single line comment and multiple line comment as well. So single line comment is denoted like this. For example, we have multiple line of comment. Let me comment. If I want to comment this all, for that I can use this. For that I can use single line comment, and we have multiple line comment as well. It is like that. Let me show you. This is single line comment. Then again you have to do the same star mark and the slash. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, I will tell you later on. I forget about the single line comment. I will tell you after in our 5th day class. So you can just understand, we have a comment. We can add comment like this, and whenever, like, you can add comment wherever you want in the code. For example, in future, like if you don't want to show this thing, so you can just select this all and click Ctrl and forward slash. So it will happen like that. It will not reflect on your web page when you save your file. So in this way you can add comment to your any web page or any file that you don't want to show on your web page. Now we have some CSS colors as well. So what is a color? Just like in the physical world, colors on a web page help in making things look better. So how we can represent color? Imagine colors like crayons. In CSS we have different ways to tell the computer what color we want. We have a hexadecimal. Hexadecimal, think of it as a secret code of a color. Like it's like this. Let me show you. Here we have a hexadecimal. Hexadecimal is like hashtag. We have RR represent red, it is in capital. Then we have a green, then we have a blue. As you all know, hexa, it means we have a 6 character. So here also it is denoted by red. RR represent red, where GG is a green and BB is stand for blue. Hexadecimal color we have. Then we have a RGB. What is this RGB? RGB like mixing paint, where R stand for red, G stand for green, and B stand for blue. And we have like a mixing paint, and we can use this color RGB, where R, G and B are numbers also from 0 to 25. If you have to give in a number from 0 to 255, you can give it. I will show you how. Then we have a name colors. Color have name like red or blue. I will show you the practical examples as well so that you can understand. Here, let me remove this. Now we are going to understand what is CSS colors. Here I am going to remove everything. I hope you may understand. Okay. Remove this styles.css. This is our last topic. What is CSS colors? Okay. So here I am going to write h1 tag. Welcome to the world of colors. After that we have a div tag. Inside div we have first RGB colors. No, first we have a not RGB, we have a hexa color, sorry. Hex colors, we are going to write that only, hex color. Okay. After hex color, we have a RGB color. Let me copy this only. Instead of hex color, I am going to write we have a RGB colors. Then we have a named colors. Okay, let me copy this only. Okay, let me save this. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add class to it. Let me add this div as a class color box. And give some ID as well. ID as a hex color. In the same way, here also I'm going to add class. Let me copy that above one only so that it become easy for me to replace. Instead of hex color, I am going to write here RGB color. Okay. Now in name also we are going to do the same. Instead of hex color, here I am going to write named color. Okay. Now let me save this file. Now what I am going to do, I am going to apply CSS on it. Here we have from where this background color is coming. Let me save the CSS as well. Okay, now it's fine. Now I'm going to take a body tag because first we have a body, and inside body I'm going to write font family. You can learn this all from W3 school. You can get lots of reference and how you can use different CSS, different CSS property. From there only you get all those things. Then we have a text align. By using text align we can center our text. Let me save this. All those things goes in center because it's apply on whole body part. Whatever inside the body we have, it is applicable for all. Then we have after body we have a h1 tag, and inside h1 tag okay, we have a h1 as a selector, and here I am going to use some color. This is the color in a number form. You can, okay, what happened, color. In a hexa form you can add color. Let me save. Okay, fine. Now we have you can see we have a classes, same classes as a name color box. So it is easy for us to apply in one and it will applicable in all three. So for example, a class is always represented by dot, as I told you before. And what is the name? Color box. And inside color box, I'm going to give width 150 pixel. Okay. Then height should be also same, 150 pixel. Margin, I will explain you margin padding in next day class in a detailed way. Now let's understand how it's working and how we can apply so that you get some basic idea. Display inline block. Okay, fine. After that, I'm going to add some border. 2 pixels is fine. 2 pixels solid, and the same color that we apply here. Same number code for color. We can use this number code as well. Now you can see border. You can decrease your border as well. It's up to your choice. I will explain you these all things. Okay, 2 pixel is fine. Now I want to give some border radius. 10 pixel. Fine. After color box, I want to show you this is our hex color. So here for hex color, what we give ID, and ID is denoted by what? Hashtag, as I taught you. So here I'm going to use hashtag, and after that I'm going to write my name that I give as an ID. Now here I'm going to give background color. Hex color have a red, green, blue property. Now here I'm going to give, you can get this number code. I will show you from where you will get the reference. I will show you. So from there you can use the number code for giving color instead of using the color name. Then we have a color. This is a white color. Okay, fine. Now in the same way, now this is our hex color. You can see we have a 6 character inside that. So I will show you from where you can get the hex color. When you type hex color in Google, you can get lots of color and you can copy the color code. Hex color code, you can click on it, and from here you can copy any color. You can see this number. If you want this color, so you have to copy this code, and simply copying and pasting in your code, it works like it is a hex color. It have a 6 character. You can see in every color. You can count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like this, and you can get lots of color, and from here you can use the color code of hex color. And in the same way, we have a RGB color. Next we have what? RGB color. There also we give ID, and here I'm going to use RGB color. And inside RGB color, I'm going to give background color. We have RGB, as I told you, RGB, R stand for red, G stand for green, and B stand for blue. And it start from 0 to 255. 0 is the initial and 255 is the last one. So for example, if you want this RGB color box in blue color, the background is in blue color. So for that, what you can do, you can give 0. The first one is red, 0 to red, blue to red, green to 0, and if you want to apply blue color, so the last number is 255, the maximum one. When you save it, it will come in blue color. And let's suppose you want not blue, you want red, so for that you can use 255. It's like a mixing a color. You can mix using RGB, you can mix the color, you can give number. Now for example, I'm giving red as 231, blue as 76. You can get it from Google as well, RGB colors. Lots of RGB colors are available, and let me save this. Now you can get different color by mixing 3 color, red, green and blue. Now you want text color. For changing the color of the text, you can simply use the color property and change it. Hashtag FF. Okay, it will give the white color. Now we have a named color. Last one is a named color. That is also we represent by hashtag. Let me see the name. Okay, it's a hex named color. No, it's named color only. Okay. Fine. Now here I am going to write named color. Named color. Okay, inside named color I am going to give background color as a orange. So you have to give the name only, so here you have to write orange as a name color, and the text color what you want white. So let me save this first. Named color, by word itself you can understand the name, the color name should be there, and the color text should be white only. So for white I am going to use this FF code. Let me save this. Now you can see, okay, it's not applicable on a named. Why this color is not applicable? Let me check. Okay, let me save this file. Okay, now fine. So in this way you can add color, and now you can understand the color property, how you can use hex colors, RGB colors and name colors. And here you can understand the classes also, how you have to define the classes. If you have to give same CSS, so for that you can use classes. Now we want the boxes in all three, so we can use the class color box and give some common CSS to that particular color box only. So it will applicable on three of these: hex color, RGB color and name color. So, and we have a ID selector. ID selector is for unique element, so it is represented by special character hashtag, and whatever the name we give, hex color, and we will apply CSS to that. In this way we can use color property, and we have these color: hexa color, RGB color and named color. And you can get a reference from Google, like hex color, you can copy any color, what color you want. If you don't know the color names, you can copy it from here. Then after that we have, after hex color, what we have a RGB colors. You can get it that as well. So here you get a code for RGB. You can check from here only. Whatever the code you want, you can copy it from here and paste it in your code. Okay. In this way you can give color to your any classes or any ID selector. Hello, wait, sir is sending the attendance link. You guys wait here. Wait, guys, wait, everyone. Wait for 5 minutes. You will get your attendance sheet. If you have any doubt in today's class, you can write in the chat box. Right now, I'm seeing the chat, so I can answer your question. Okay, so for practicing coding in initial state, you are not able to code properly. That is happening with me as well. So for that, you can use W3 School, and inside W3 School, you can get lots of reference. Let me show you. From there, you can, practice coding. For me, also this thing happening. So W3 School is the best. When you open this, for example, if you have to start with HTML. So when you click on it, you will get, okay. Now first you have to learn the introduction, what is HTML. This is a boilerplate of HTML. You use this. In starting, if you do copy and paste, it will be totally okay. For example, if you are watching any video for making any simple web page. So if you are copying the code from there and pasting it inside in your VS Code, that will also work a lot. It's like it's like if you're copying and writing code by your own self, you're cloning any web page, and from there also you are seeing the single line of code and doing practice by writing. So don't think like that you are doing cheating, or you are just cheat yourself. It's not like that. It's come in a practice way. And once you are start doing practice like this, definitely you will learn coding very soon. For building logic, you can practice every single day. Like, how can you add, like for example, today you learn about CSS. So you can learn the property of CSS. Start with the basic, and after that come on the logic. When you learn JavaScript, there you have to implement logic. So first learn the basic thing. After completing the basic one, you have to jump on moderate and then advanced. Sir is not there. That's why you guys are not getting attendance link. There is some technical problem from our end. Our team is not able to send you the attendance link. So no worry. You will get the attendance link for today in a tomorrow class. So no need to worry about that. I'm waiting. If it is resolved, then you will get attendance link. Where is... Okay. Okay guys, no worry, there is some technical problem, and this is the reason only the sir is not able to send you the attendance link. No worry, you will get attendance link tomorrow class, for today as well and for tomorrow as well. So no need to worry about that. So from here we are going to end this video lecture here only, and we will, please, I will provide you the assignment question, so try to do that and do practice as well for improving your coding. Okay, thank you so much. Hi Sam, ma'am, good evening. एक्चुअली अभी लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग था ना मेरा, तो वहाँ पे मैंने अपना क्लास ओवर किया. क्लास ओवर करके he was saying the attendance like students are asking to me, ma'am, where is the attendance? because he is not seeing the message as well. So right now what I do, I end the session. हाँ हाँ ओके ओके ओके
मोदी बहुत काम का चीज लेके आए हैं। हम खरीदने वाले
दोस्त भाई का दोस्त की बहन का शादी
इसको चुप कर दो दीदी
मोनू के ऊपर कौन सा कपड़ा सूट करेगा मोनू का मैं कपड़ा तो गाँव में छोड़ दिया हाँ क्या हेलो हेलो सुने ना वाइट शर्ट लेकर के हमारे घर पे पहुंचे बहुत तगड़ा कपड़ा निकाल दिए एकदम फॉर्मल शूज का एक व्यवस्था कीजिए ब्रो कैसे भी बहुत तगड़ा कपड़ा निकाले बहुत तगड़ा वो ग्रीन कलर का है पूरा हाँ आपके वाले इधर आइए ना वाइट शर्ट लेकर के ठीक हाँ ठीक देखते हैं भैया को तो भैया को उठा लेंगे पक्का दीजिए देख लीजिए ठीक कोमल दे ये देख हाँ, ये मोनू के ऊपर ठीक लगेगा यार मोनू को कपड़ा गाँव में छोड़ दिया यार मोनू का कपड़ा शादी के लिए लेके गया था
तो फिर इसके देने के लिए बोला
किसको मोनू का कपड़ा मैं छोड़ दिया हूँ गाँव में उसके भी ठीक लगेगा मोनू के ऊपर
कर दीजिए
हाँ
हाँ कर देना
देखना
पास में बहुत सारी है तेरे बच्चे का
आप ही कौन दीजिएगा ले जाना बोले
तो फॉर्मल पैंट हम गाँव ले गए मोनू का गाँव में छोड़ दिया
गुड ब्लैक वाला
नीला ब्लैक वाला तो मैं अभी सिलवा
भाई ऐसे ऐसे बंदे आते ना रूपस वगैरह तो जल्दी जल्दी मेरे कंपनी में भी कोई आके बैठ तो नहीं रहे मैम ओके मैम कैन यू टेल मैम कैसे पैकेज में मुझे जाती है थैंक यू मैम फॉर टुडे सेक्टर थैंक यू सब फॉरेनर चलेंगे ना देखिए मेरे ये वाला कोल्ड ड्रिंक तो मैं जिंदगी में ना पीऊं तो तू पी रहा है